Hey friends, it's me, your girl, Kristen Denise, also known as KD, and happy first day of Black History Month. Now hear me out. I'm a Black History 365 kind of girly. Do you hear me? Black History 365. But I decided for this month to attempt to share some Black history facts just every day, some things that we all should know about Black history. I'm a firm believer that Black history is American history. But I also sometimes talk about diasporic Black history. So not just Black history in the United States, but Black history around the world, because we make waves everywhere we go. But I'm going to focus today on how we got Black History Month. A lot of people don't know how Black History Month started. So I wanted to share some information, some facts. So if you see me looking over here, I'm looking at my computer because I got my notes. Okay, I got my notes. Because I'm not going to even attempt to try to remember everything. And I want to give you good information, solid information, right? And I also want to connect what we can learn from our Black history leaders and those who are making waves and apply to our lives today, right? And so I'm going to talk today about the establishment of Black History Month and its founder, Dr. Carter G. Woodson. So first and foremost, Black History Month originated from the efforts of Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who was a historian and an educator. He is often called the father of Black history. And in 1926, he started what was called then as Negro History Week. So we didn't start with a month. We started with Negro History Week. And the point of it was to highlight the significant contributions of Black Americans to history, to combat the widespread neglect and distortion of Black achievements in education and society. Sound familiar? And he strategically chose the second week of February because it coincided with the birthdays of two people who, especially at the time, were revered in Black history. One of those people is Frederick Douglass, whose birthday is Valentine's Day, February 14th. And then also Abraham Lincoln, whose birthday is February 12th. So again, these are figures highly regarded in Black history. Random fun fact, Frederick Douglass was the most photographed human of the 19th century. How cool is that? Just want to put that out there. Woodson's efforts were a part of a broader movement at the time, so he was not the only one, but to ensure that Black history was recognized as an integral part of American history. One of the things I always point out to people is the first person to die in the American Revolution was a Black man, Crispus Attucks. So we've been here. We've been in there since the beginning. And so Dr. Woodson's work laid the foundation for the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, which will be referenced as ASALH moving forward. And it continues and that organization continues to promote research and awareness of Black history because we still making history. At the beginning of the Civil Rights Movement and as it gained momentum in the 1960s, there was more interest in Black history. And in 1976, during the United States Bicentennial, Negro History Week was officially expanded to Black History Month by President Gerald Ford at the time. And he urged Americans to recognize the often overlooked achievements of Black Americans. And that is how we got to Black History Month. And while we're not going to let nobody stop us from celebrating, we're not going to let anybody overlook our accomplishments and achievements. There's so many things that have been invented by Black Americans, so many programs that were brought forth by Black Americans that have literally changed the fabric of the United States. And if you don't have Black Americans, you don't have a lot of what makes us us here in the United States. So we're never going to give it up. We're never going to overlook that history. And we're going to make sure that we are the ones who curate it. I'm here for basic information. I advise you to sign up for Dr. Barlow's class if you are a Black person and you want to dive deep into Black history as a whole. Like, she covers the diaspora. She starts with modern day and goes back to Africa, which I think is amazing. I'm taking Dr. Barlow's class, here on Hillman Talk myself, as a lover of Black history, and she shares such amazing, valuable information. I'm here to give you just some of the basics. These are things I was fortunate enough to learn in my childhood, to learn in my youth, some things I picked up as an adult. But there's some basic things that I think everybody should know about the contributions of Black Americans to society. And honestly, in a lot of ways, how we got here. Okay, cool. So a little bit more about Dr. Carter G. Woodson. He was a historian, an author, and an educator. He was born to formerly enslaved parents in Virginia. He was the second African-American person to earn a PhD from Harvard University. Do you know who the first person was? If you do, drop it in the comments. Let me know if you know who the very first person to gain a PhD from Harvard University is. It's a name you should definitely know. Promise you that. And he dedicated his life to studying and preserving Black history because he recognized the critical importance of our history, not just to us, but again to the story of the United States as a whole. Frustrated by the exclusion of Black history in mainstream education is why he founded the Association for the Study of African American Life and History in 1933, which is still influential to this very day. He critiqued the way that Black people were systemically miseducated. Wrote a book called The Miseducation of the Negro, which is still a very popular book. If you haven't read it, check it out. He helped to launch the Journal of Negro History in 1916. And I'm sorry, I mixed up that 1933 date. That's when he wrote The Miseducation of the Negro, not when the ASALH was founded. It was founded in 1915. So I mixed those dates up in my notes. Sorry about that. And he believed that understanding Black history was essential to Black empowerment and social change. And his legacy continues through the observance of Black History Month, which serves as an opportunity for all of us to reflect on and celebrate the resilience, achievements, and impact of African Americans. So, now I've given you all that background information really quickly. What can we learn from this? What can we do right now? How do we take what Dr. Carter G. Woodson did and make it applicable to today? Obviously, first and foremost, we study our history. We study the legacy of our people in the United States, and we make sure that we don't let anybody forget it, namely ourselves, our children, our communities, and then we can share that with the broader population. Because people love to be like, what have Black people done? Let me tell you, a lot. Okay? Also, we learn from his example where we see that things are systemically incorrect, right? That things are creating barriers for us. We have to be solution-oriented. Dr. Woodson just didn't sit in his frustration that our history was being overlooked and ignored and that our contributions didn't seem to be valued by society as a whole. He said, I'm going to do something about it. And I don't know if he had any idea at the time. I don't know if he ever thought it would expand to what it has become over the years, but he didn't let that stop him. He said, this is where I can start, right? He started with a week. He picked a significant week. He started with the week, and he made it his point to preserve our culture and our history and to share it first and foremost with us. Now, everybody else can learn too. We cool with that, but this is for us because we need it. We need to understand where we come from, what we have contributed, how we have made impact on this society through enslavement, through Jim Crow, and everything else, right? And it's important still to this very day that we learn this information, that we give ourselves this opportunity to revel in what we've been able to accomplish as Black people. So the lesson I want us to take from that is be solution oriented. We are really good at identifying problems, most of us. Some people struggle with that too. But don't just sit and identify an issue. Identify the problem, but then be solution oriented when you think about that problem, when you talk about that problem. Take that idea to the next level. Really work towards bringing out some kind of solution. And you don't have to do it by yourself. Dr. Woodson, again, established a journal. He established an organization and things that have outlived him, right? He passed away in 1950. He passed away before Negro History Week became Black History Month, but his work laid a foundation for what we have today. What can you lay a foundation for with your work? What is the area where you can provide solutions that help people have a better experience, broaden their perspectives and horizons, remove barriers to access and entry into success? Take that idea and begin working that idea until it starts living outside of your head and in our reality. If you need some help with that, holla at your girl. You can check out my stand store. I have different products that are available to help you figure out where to go next if you need some help with that. But my encouragement to you on this first day of Black History Month is that while we constantly celebrate the history that has already been made, let us also encourage ourselves to continue to make history. So I am going to be Black history, right? There are going to be people studying about the work of Kristen Denise Hemingway in the future. I guarantee you that. What are you going to do to position yourself so people are studying your work too, my love? All right? Always remember, do what you need to do to be more than okay because you deserve to be more than okay. Absolutely do what you need to do to live a life you love because you deserve to live a life you love. And let's go out here and make some history.